Welcome back, children of grade 8, for our today's English class. Today, in this session, we are going to see Chapter 8, Prose, from our textbook Honeydew. The title of the chapter, A Short Monsoon Diary, written by Ruskin Bond. Here, some information about our author, Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond. He was born on 19th May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. In the year 1992, he received the Sahitya Academy Award for his short story collections. Our trees still grow in Dehra, given by Sahitya Academy, India's National Academy of Literature. He was awarded the Padma Shri in the year 1999 for his contributions to children's literature, and he now lives with his adopted family in Landor near Missouri. Children, that's all from the author Ruskin Bond. So children, next let's see a video clip of Ruskin Bond's A Short Monsoon Diary.
A Short Monsoon Diary. The first day of monsoon mist, and it's strange how all the birds fall silent as the mist comes climbing up the hill. Perhaps that's what makes the mist so melancholy. Not only does it conceal the hills, it blankets them in silence too. Through the mist, Bijju is calling to his sister. I can hear him running about on the hillside, but I cannot see him. Some genuine early monsoon rain, warm and humid, and not that good high altitude snuff we've been having all year. The plants seem to know it too, and the first cobra lily rears its head from the ferns as I walk up to the bank and post office. The mist affords a certain privacy. The rains have heralded the arrival of some seasonal visitors, a leopard and several thousand leeches. Yesterday afternoon, the leopard lifted a dog from near the servants' quarter below the school. In the evening, it attacked one of Bijju's cows, but fled at the approach of Bijju's mother, who came screaming imprecations. The rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the steep hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws disconsolately. Water drips from the leaking drain pipe, and suddenly, clear and pure, the song of all the whistling thrust emerges like a dark sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. It is the last day of August, and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lily are turning red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. Snakes and rodents, flooded out of their holes and burrows, take shelter in roofs, attics, and godowns. A shrew, weak of eyesight, blunders about the rooms, much to the amusement of the children.
Don't kill it,
Admonishes their grandmother.
Chuchundars are lucky. They bring money.
And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. The blackest cloud I have seen squatted over Missouri, and then it hailed marbles for half an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming.
Children, that's all from the video clip. Let's see the summary of the story a short monsoon diary. About the story. This story, a short monsoon diary, deals with the experience of the author Ruskin Bond during the monsoon season on mountains. He has described the silent features of the nature, its undefined beauty, and all the flora and fauna that emerge out during this season. Ruskin Bond had spent a large part of his life in India and was deeply inspired by the natural beauty of mountains. In this story, he has described the flowers, plants, creepers, and all kinds of insects, reptiles, and animals that he witnessed during monsoon. What is meant by diary and what is a diary? Here, the explanation for you children. Just now in the previous class, we saw in the composition writing about diary entry. Here, this story is also deals with the diary that was written by the author Ruskin Bond. What is a diary? It is a record of personal experiences written day after day over a long period of time. One can also use a diary to note down things he plans to do immediately or in future. One of the most famous diaries that was published as a book is The Diary of Anne Frank. Here are a few extracts from Ruskin Bond's diary in which he portrays the silent miracles of nature and life's little joys and regrets. So children, now you would have been clear about what is diary. Now let's see some information about the season monsoon. Monsoon is a type of major wind system that seasonally reverses its direction. For example, one that blows for approximately 6 months from the northeast and 6 months from the southwest. The primary cause of monsoon lies in the difference of annual temperature trends over land and see through other factors may be involved as well. A monsoon blows from cold towards warm regions, from sea towards land in summer and from land towards sea in winter. Also, many places experience infrequent and relatively feeble precipitation during the monsoon. Children, that's all from the informative information about monsoon. Let's move on to the text. So children, this is what our 8th chapter, a short monsoon diary. So children, first of all, take your textbook Honeydew, page number 13. Keep your fingers children. Read along with me and follow the story. Listen the story carefully children. Understand the things carefully. Let's read the warm-up area before you read. Do you know what a diary is? Yes. As we read before, the same thing what was given here about diary. So look at here. Do you know what a diary is? It's a record of personal experiences written day after day over a long period of time. You can also use a diary to note down things you plan to do immediately or in future. One of the most famous diaries published as a book is The Diary of Anne Frank. Here are a few extracts from Ruskin Bond's diary in which he portrays the silent miracles of nature and life's little joys and regrets. Let's read on the story now. Here, children, look at the first part of the story, A Short Monsoon Diary. As I told you before, as it is a diary written by our author Ruskin Bond, so he has written the incidents day by day. He started his diary with the date June 24th. So see here, that was the part 1 for us in this chapter from date June 24th. Look at the passage here. The first day of monsoon mist, and it's strange how all the birds fall silent as the mist comes climbing up the hills. Perhaps that's what makes the mist so melancholy. Melancholy means very sad. Look at the glossary here, children, meaning it was given in the side. Melancholy means very sad. The mist is called melancholy because it makes people feel melancholy. So as the mist, as the clouds, fog, it looks so sad and soft. So it makes the people also feel melancholy. That is very sad. Not only does it conceal the hills, it blankets them in silence too. Only an hour ago, the trees were ringing the bird song, and now the forest is deathly still as though it were midnight. Through the mist, Biju is calling to his sister. I can hear him running about on the hillside, but I cannot see him. So, children, this was the part 1's first day, that is June 24th, that the author recorded in his diary as the first day of monsoon mist. Okay, let's see the explanation of this June 24th, first day of his monsoon mist now. So, children, here let's listen to the explanation for the first part on June 24th that was recorded in Ruskin Bond's diary. So look at the first line here. The first day of monsoon mist. So as he was in the hill station, this was the first day of monsoon mist. As his personal experience, he recorded in his diary. And it's strange how all the birds fall silent as the mist come climbing up the hill. So in that time, it was strange, it was very different, and that all the birds, they all fall silent. All the birds in the hill station, they all become silent as the mist comes climbing up the hill. While the mist climbing up the hill, perhaps that's what makes the mist so melancholy. So the mist made the place completely melancholy. So because of the mist, the people even become so dull and sad. Not only does it conceal that what makes the mist so melancholy, so the mist made the people also so melancholy. Not only does it conceal the hills, so not only it can cover the hills, conceal means covered. So not only it covered the hills, but it blanket them in silence. Blanket means it covered them with silence too. So the mist covered the hill as well as with silence. Okay, so look at the next line. Only an hour ago, the trees were ringing with bird song. So just before an hour, the trees they and the birds they started to sing, but now it was pin drop silence out there. And now the forest deathly still as through it were midnight. So as it going to be night, there were deathly silence still in the complete forest. Through the mist, Biju is calling to his sister. So, as the author Ruskin Bond, he was inside the room. He couldn't see the little boy and his sister, but he could hear the voice of Biju who is calling to his sister. He can hear him running about on the hillside, but he couldn't see that. So that's all from the first part, June 24th, that he recorded in his diary and its explanation. Let's move on to next the day of his diary. Children, that's all from the first day, that is June 24th. Look at here, this is the second day of his diary entry, that is June 25th. Look at the lines here and follow me. Some genuine early monsoon rain, warm and humid, and not that cold high altitude stuff we've been having all year. The plants seem to know it too, and the first cobra lily reads its head from the ferns as I walk up to the bank and post office. Fern, what is meant by fern? A flowerless plant with feathery green leaves, that is known as fern, children. The mist affords a certain privacy. A schoolboy asked me to describe the hill station and valley in one sentence, and all I could say was a paradise that might have been. That's all from the reading, children. Let's see the explanation of this part now. So children, let's see the explanation of June 25th. Some genuine early monsoon rain, warm and humid. Humid means beautiful, pleasant climate, and not that cold high altitude stuff we've been having all the year. So it is not that cold high altitude, it is moderate rain, warm and cold in that whole year completely. The plants seem to know it too. So the plants know already about this season. So the plants seem to know that this is the season, and the first cobra lily rears its head from the ferns as I walk up to the bank and the post office. So here, when the author Ruskin Bond, he started to walk from bank and post office, he could see the first cobra lily raise its head. Raise means started to raise its head from the ferns. Ferns means the plants, that is flowerless plants. Inside the flowerless plant, the first cobra lily just raising its head when he walked towards the bank and post office. The mist offered a certain privacy. A schoolboy asked to describe the hill station and valley in one sentence. So there came a schoolboy. He asked him to describe this hill station and the valley in one sentence, and all could say was. So, after that question asked by the schoolboy, he immediately replied that this was the paradise that might have been. So this is the paradise that he ever seen anywhere. So, children, that's all from the explanation of this paragraph that is on June 25th. And that's all from June 25th. Let's see the next, that is third day of his record in the diary, that is June 27th. So look at the first line here on June 27th. See the first line. The rains have heralded. Heralded means, look at the glossary given here, announced or brought the news of. So here the rains have heralded, announced the arrival of some seasonal visitors. Seasonal visitors like a leopard and several thousand leeches. Yesterday afternoon, the leopard lifted a dog from near the servants' quarters below the school. In the evening, it attacked one of Biju's cow, but fled at the approach of Biju's mother, who came screaming in precautions. In precaution means curses. As for the leeches, I shall soon get used to a little bloodletting every day. Bloodletting means, what is the meaning here? Losing blood. That is, decades ago, leeches were used to remove blood from the patient's body. So, here, as for the leeches, I shall soon get used to the little bloodletting every day. Other new arrivals are the scarlet minivets. Scarlet minivets. What is meant by scarlet minivets, children? Look at the glossary here. A bright red bird like a cuckoo bird. It's a kind of a red bird. That's name is scarlet minivet. The females are yellow. So the males will be in red color and the females will be in yellow color. Flitting silently among the leaves like brilliant jewels. Scarlet minivets, all male and female, or just they are flying among the leaves like brilliant jewels. No matter how leafy the trees, these brightly colored birds cannot conceal themselves, although by remaining absolutely silent. They sometimes contrive means immediately to go unnoticed. Along come a pair of drongos. Drongo means small singing bird with a stout bill, necessarily aggressive, chasing the minivets away. Along come a pair of drongos, unnecessarily aggressive, chasing the minivets away. Children, let's see the continuation here. A tree creeper moves rapidly up the trunk of the oak tree, snapping up insects all the way. Now that the rains are here, there's no dearth of food for the insectivorous birds. A tree creeper moves rapidly up the trunk of the oak tree, snapping up insects all the way. Now that the rains are here, there is no dearth of food for the insectivorous birds. So children, that's all from this passage. Let's see the explanation of this June 27th now. So children, let's start the explanation of this paragraph. Look at the first line here. The rains have heralded. Heralded means, as we saw in the glossary, it is announced. Heralded means announced the arrival of some seasonal visitors like leopard. Leopard is a kind of wild animal. It's a kind of cat family. And thousands liches. Liches means it is a insect that is used to suck blood. So in the olden days, liches were used to take blood from the patient's body. Okay, so look at the next line. Yesterday afternoon a leopard. So here Ruskin Bond, he just pinpointing an incident that was happened the day before, that a leopard lifted a dog from near the servants' quarter below the school. And one more thing, in the evening, the same leopard, it attacked one of Biju's cows, but fled. Fled means run away at the approach of Biju's mother. Fled means run away at the approach. Immediately, the Biju's mother came there. The leopard escaped from that place. Who came screaming in precautions? In precautions means curse. Curse means scolding, irritated. So, who came screaming? Screaming means shouted, and whose mother, she just shouted, and precautions means curse, irritated. As for the liches, I shall soon get used to a little bloodletting every day. So, here Ruskin Bond, he is telling about the liches also. So, usually every day he used to get a little bloodletting because of the liches. It used to bite him and he used to get bitten by the liches. Next line, the other new arrival. So, here the another new arrivals are scarlet minivets, that is the females are in yellow color and the males were in red color. So the minivets is a small singing bird in bright red color, but the females are in yellow color. Flitting. Flitting means flying silently among the leaves like brilliant jewels. So while the minivets, female and male, was flying over the leaves, it looks like a brilliant jewels shining over the leaves. No matter how the leafy trees, these brightly colored birds cannot conceal themselves. Although by remaining absolutely silent, they sometimes contrive to go unnoticed. So immediately, while he was noticing the leaves, there he could see the brightly colored birds flying over that. Suddenly, they used to disappear from that place because of the drongo. Drongo is a bird with stout bill. Stout bill means beak, with a stout beak. Immediately it was unnoticed. Minivets are disappearing because of the pair of drongos. Along come a pair of drongos, unnecessarily aggressive, chasing the minivets away. So here the drongos, they are just aggressively chasing the minivets, scarlet minivets, away from the leaves, away from the place. A tree creeper moves rapidly up the trunk of the oak tree. So after that, these creatures, the author, he is telling about the tree creepers. Small creeper means a small plant. It used to climb over the tree, and here It is just climbing over the trunk of the oak tree, snapping up insects all the way. Now the rains are here, there. There is no dearth of food. That means there is no food for the insectivorous birds. So, because of the rain, there is no insects anywhere. Now there is no food for the insectivorous, the birds that is used to eat insects. Bird that eats insects, that are all insectivorous birds. Okay, so there is no food because of the rain. There is no food for the insectivorous birds here. That's all from the explanation of day 3, that is June 27th. Children, let's move on to the next day. Children, now we came to the part 2 of the story. So in part 2, the author Ruskin Bond, he just started from August 2nd. Look at the first line of this paragraph. All night the rain has been drumming on the corrugated tin roof. There has been no storm, no thunder, just the steady swish of a tropical downpour. It helps me to lie awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. It is a good sound to read by. The rain outside, the quiet within. And although tin roofs are given to springing unaccountable leaks, there is a feeling of being untouched by and yet in touch with the rain. Drumming means falling noisily. So the rain was such produces like a drumming sound, falling noisily. That is known as drumming. So that's all from the reading part of this August 2nd. Let's see the explanation now. Children, here let's see the explanation for the 4th day, that is from the second part, first day, August 2nd. Look at the first line. All night the rain has been drumming. Drumming means falling noisily on the corrugated. Corrugated means a material that was covered on the roof, tin roof. There has been no storm. Storm means heavy wind. There is no heavy wind, no thunder, just a steady swish of a tropical downpour. Without any thunder, without any heavy blow of wind, it was a downpour, tropical downpour on that night, on August 2nd. It helps me to lie awake. It helps him. So here the author is telling that it helps, the rain helps him to lie awake. He couldn't sleep, but he is awake. At the same time, it doesn't keep me from sleeping. Time he couldn't sleep because of the noise that were made by the rain over the roof. It is a good sound to read by. The rain outside. So on hearing to the sound, drumming sound of the roof, on the roof, because of the heavy rain, he could just listen to the sound that the rain outside is heavy, at the same time it is quiet within. He himself feel quiet in that time. And although tin roofs are giving springing uncountable leaks. So here, because of the tin roofs, because of the heavy rain, the roofs the roofs got some leakage, and the rainwater just flowing, dripping inside the room. There is a feeling of being untouched by. and yet it is touched with the rain. He couldn't feel that situation, but he couldn't, he even though, but he could touch with the rain. He could feel the rain, beauty of the sound, beauty, and he could listen to the drumming noise, heavy noise that was made by the rain. So this was the narration by the portrait. This was the portrait of the rainfall by the author Ruskin Bond. So children, that's all from this day 4 August 2nd explanation. Let's read the next day now. Children, let's continue reading the next day, that is day 5 in part 2, that is August 3rd. Look at the first line. The rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. I hear the tinkle of cowbells. In the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws disconsolately. Disconsolately means, look at the glossary children, unhappily. Water drips from a leaking drain pipe, and suddenly, clean and pure, the song of whistling thrush emerged like a dark sweet secret from the depths of the ravine. Ravine means valley. Look at the glossary children. Ravine means valley. That's all from the day 5 children, August 3rd. Let's see the explanation now. So children, let's start the explanation for the August 3. Look at the first line. Now, after a heavy rain, now the rain stops. The clouds begin to break up. The sun strikes the hill on my left. A woman is chopping up sticks. Chopping means cutting the sticks. I hear a tinkle. Tinkle means the bell sound of cow. Tinkle of bells. The oak tree, a crow. Over the oak tree, a crow shakes the raindrops from his feathers and caws consolately means unhappy. It shouts, and it produces its noise unhappily. Water drips from the leaking drain pipes. Somewhere, water dripping from the leaking drain pipes. Suddenly, clean and pure, the song of whistling thrush emerged like a dark secret from the depths of the ravine. So immediately he could see a pure water flow from the valley, and the thrush of the water from the valley was clear enough to listen in the morning sunshine. Children, that's all from the explanation part of this paragraph. Let's move on to the next paragraph. Children, let's see the next paragraph, that is August 12. After August 3, the author directly moves on to August 12. Look at the first line. Endless rain and a permanent mist. He haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. Nowhere to go. Pace the room. Look out of the window at a few bobbing umbrellas. At last, it isn't cold. That's all from this page, children. Let's move on to the next page. Rain. The hillsides are lush as late monsoon flowers begin to appear: wild blossoms, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids. That's all from this paragraph, children. Let's move on to the explanation. Now, children, that's all from the reading of this August 12. Let's see the explanation here. Look at the first line here. Endless rain. So, there was endless rain and a permanent mist everywhere covered the hill station. We haven't seen the sun for 8 or 9 days. They couldn't see the sun for 8 or 9 days. Everything damp and soggy. So everywhere water covered in and around. Nowhere to go. Pace the room. Pace the room means inside the room. Look out the window at a few bobbling umbrellas. So from the room, the author, Ruskin Bond, looking out from his window, and he could see some bobbing. Bobbing means just rising off, using of umbrellas outside by the people. At least it isn't cold rain. The hill station or lush as last monsoon flowers begin to appear as late monsoon flowers. For this climate, there was some flowers in the late monsoon season. It started to appear like wild balsams, dahlia, begonias, and ground orchid. So these are the flowers that he could see in this late monsoon. So in this climate, he could see in the hill station with few flowers like wild balsams, dahlias, begonias, and ground orchids were appearing in the late monsoon season. So that's what the explanation of this paragraph, children. Let's move on to the next paragraph now. Children, that's all from the sixth day, that is August 12. Now let's read August 3rd, that is the seventh day of his diary and record of the late monsoon in the hill station. Look at the first line here for August 31st. Last day of August, and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. The seeds of the cobra lilies are turned red, signifying that the rains are coming to an end. In a few days, the ferns will start turning yellow, but right now they are still firm, green, and upright. Ground orchids, mauve, lady's spiller, and the white butterfly orchid put on a fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. Wild dahlias, red, yellow, and magenta, rear their heads from the rocky crevices where they have taken hold. Crevices means narrow opening or cracks in rack or hole or wall. Crevices means narrow openings or cracks in rock or wall. Snakes and rodents floated out of their holes and burrows, take shelter in roofs, attics, and godowns. A shrew, weak of eyesight, blunders about the rooms, much to the amusement of the children. Shrew means find its Hindi equivalent in the next sentence. Don't kill it, admonishes. Don't kill it, admonishes their grandmother. Chuchitras are lucky, they bring money. And sure enough, I receive a check in the mail. Not a very large one, but welcome all the same. So that's all from this day 7, that is August 31st, children. Let's see the explanation of this passage now. Is the last day of this month, August. The author, Ruskin Bond, he wrote about the seasons and the climatic conditions of the hill station. Look at the day 31st August here. It is the last day of August and the lush monsoon growth has reached its peak. So the monsoon reached its peak and the seeds of the cobra lilies are turned red, signify that the rains are coming to an end. So it shows the seed of cobra lily was turned into red. That shows the sign of the rain, it's going to an end. In a very few days, the ferns, that is flowerless plants, will start turning yellow. That means the ferns, flowerless plants, it's going to dry. But right now they are still prim. But now it is standing still and in green color, and they are straight upright. And they are standing upright means straight. Ground archets, mouse, ladies' slippers, and white butterfly archets put on the fashion display on the grassy slopes of Landor. These are the flowers that he could see in the grassy slopes of Landor. Wild dahlias, red and yellow and magenta. So in dahlia he could see 3 colors, that is red, yellow and magenta. Rear their head from the rocky creeps where they have taken hold. Snakes and rodents floated out of their holes and burrows, take their shelters in roofs, attics, and godowns. So here you can see the author Ruskin Bond. He is telling about the reptiles and the like rodents. So snakes and rodents. Rodents means it's a kind of rat. They are all, due to heavy, they all floated out of their holes and burrows. Burrows means the house of the reptiles and the animals, small animals, take their shelters in roofs. Roofs means the upper part of the house, and attics. Attics means the room, store rooms, and godowns. The godowns mean the things, the old things that were kept in a room. Shrew means it's a mammal like a rat which eats the insects. Insectivorous, that is known as shrew. Weak, it has weak of eyesight. Blunders means falls about the room, much to the amusement of the children. So on seeing this kind of mammals, the children got attracted. Immediately they started to chase it. Grandmother, who told to those children that don't kill it, in admonishes chuchundars. Chuchundars are the rat-like mammal. They are lucky to bring the money. Like a symbol of a luck that brings the money. So this is thought of the people out there in Landor. So the grandmother told to children to not to kill it. And sure enough, I received a check in the mail, not a very one, but welcome all the sum. So immediately she is telling that, and sure enough, I'll receive a check in a mail. That's all from this paragraph, children. Let's see the next paragraph now. So children, that's all from the day 7. Let's move on to the day 8. It's the month of October 3rd. So here the author Ruskin Bond, he is just writing and continuing his writing from the month of October 3rd. We have gone straight from monsoon into winter rain, snow at higher altitudes. After an evening hailstorm, the sky and the hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. So children, that's all from the month of October 3. Let's see the explanation now. So children, look at here the explanation of October 3rd. We have gone straight from the monsoon into winter rain, snow at higher altitudes. After evening hailstorm, the sky and the hills are suffused with a beautiful golden light. Suffused means reduced and changed its color with beautiful golden light. Explanation of the October 3rd. Let's move on to the next passage now. So children, let's read day 9, that is January 26. Look at here, see the first line. Winter reigns in the hills, in the hushed silence of the house, when I am quite alone and my friend who was here has gone. It is very lonely, very quiet. As I sit in the liquid silence, a silence within, surrounded by the rhythm of rain, the steady drift of water on leaves, on lemons, on roof, drumming on drenched dahlias and window panes, while the mist holds the house in a dark caress. As I pause near the window, the rain stops and started again, and the trees, no longer green but grey, menace me with their loneliness. So here, caress means touching or holding lovely. So here he is just explaining about the mist that holds the house, that just covered the house in a dark caress. Dark, touching or holding lovely. Menace means threaten. So, and the tree is no longer green but grey, menace me with their loneliness. Means threatened. So that's all from day 9, that is January 26. Let's see the explanation of this passage now. So let's see the explanation of January 26, children. Winter reigns in the hills. In the hushed silence, there was a pin drop silence of the house when I was quite alone. When he is quite alone, there was pin drop silence in the house, throughout the house, and my friend who was here has gone. So he was along with his friend. Now his friend also gone somewhere, and he was lonely, and there was quiet everywhere. And I sit in a liquid silence, a silence within, surrounded by the rhythm of rain. So there was silence everywhere throughout the house, but rhythm of rain was surrounded with the house. And a steady drift means dropping of waters on the leaves, lemons on the roof, that produce a drumming sound on drenching dahlias. So it just drench means cleans the dahlias and the window panes. It just beats on the water, and the raindrop just fall on the dahlias and on the window panes. While the mist holds the house in a dark caress. Caress means holding lovely. So here the mist holds the house lovely, and I pass near the window, the rain stops. Pass near the window, the rain stops, and the trees no longer green but grey. Menace means here threaten me with their loneliness. So he just passed nearby the window, rain stops. So and the trees was no longer green but gray. It looks gray in color, and this threatens the author Ruskin Bond because of his loneliness. So that's all from the explanation of January 26th, that is day 9 by the author Ruskin Bond, that was written in his diary. So children, we came to the last part of the story, a short monsoon diary that was written by Ruskin Bond. Look at the month that was written here, the month of March 23rd. Late March, end of winter. The blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted over Missouri. Blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted. Squatted means settle on a piece of land over Missouri. And then it hailed. Hail means downpour, falling of something that is like marbles. The raindrops falling like a marble for an hour. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, I see a rainbow forming. So as the end of the winter, he could see the rainbow there as a sign of the end of the winter season and the rain. That's all from the reading part of this chapter, a short monsoon diary written by Ruskin Bond. Let's see the explanation of this last paragraph. Children, let's see the explanation of the last paragraph, that is on March 23rd. Here in Bond, he is just portraying the end of the winter. Late March, end of winter, it was the end of the winter, the blackest cloud I've ever seen squatted. Squatter means it's a settle on a piece of land. Settle on a piece of land. It was such a peaceful and paradise like a place. It was the Landour, Missouri. And then it hailed it. Hailed it means just started with the fall of marbles for half an hour. For half an hour, there was a rain like a marbles for over there in Missouri. Nothing like a hailstorm to clear the sky. Even as I write, so after the hailstorm, the sky got clear. He was writing the diary, he could see the rainbow that was forming, that shows the sign of end of the winter and end of the monsoon and the rain. So that's the explanation of the last paragraph, children. That's the end of the story, a short monsoon diary written by the author, nature lover Ruskin Bond.